I am a connoisseur of memes. I love a good meme, and one of my favorite memes that I like to go back and revisit from time to time is the wage cage. And it can take various forms depending on whether you're sort of left or right politically, but overall the wage cage seems to represent the idea of corporations putting down the corporate boot upon the individual. And let's just kind of backtrack to sort of the original idea of what brought about this meme for the wage cage. And that is the concept of the rat race. And that's been around for a while. I can't remember exactly when that phrase was coined, but the rat race has been a phrase that's been around for a while. And the rat race represents a rat in a cage, running on a wheel, basically perpetually running this race that they're never going to win because they're running a race on this wheel, and it's just the wheel just keeps coming back. And that's sort of the entire cycle of what Americans experience a lot of times with how earning money, getting their wages, and then spending it on the things that are necessary to daily life and to having a good life. So that's sort of the concept of the rat race, but that's kind of morphed into more recently the meme of the wage cage. And basically the wage cage just shows a guy sitting strapped to his chair. He can't go anywhere. He has to basically he's locked into this chair and he has to do his work, and until the time's up, and then he can actually leave if the boss actually says he can leave, I guess. And that's sort of the concept of a lot of this sort of corporate boot and the corporatism now, and the bureaucracy of corporations. And that's what a lot of what the wage cage represents. And that's something that I think that a lot of people need to come to understand. That the wage cage, yes, being employed is good. I think that, everybody should be employed just to know what that's like. But I think that a lot of people need to then find a way to monetize themselves. And you can monetize yourselves in a lot of ways. There's been people who have become entertainers who have made YouTube videos. I'm trying to make YouTube videos now, as you can see. But I don't think I'll make anything out of them. I don't think I'll make any money off of it. But the concepts and the ideas I do want to bring and represent. But a lot of people try these different avenues, and they do things with their capabilities, and they do it all on their own without the need for an employer. And that's what I think we need more of, is a little bit more of like independent work in a lot of ways. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't start your own business and try to have employees, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't work for anyone and try to be a good employee to any degree. But I think that a lot of times those kind of things hamper your growth and your ability to have a good and sustainable life. I think that you could do better. to be like one of those girl groups or whatever. It's like you could do better. But yeah, like essentially the whole idea of going and working a wage job and not considering any other option, and not considering any investment or any other capability of generating generational wealth for you and your family, or generating even additional wages. Even something like what my dad does. He works a little bit in his spare time just repairing stuff for people he knows. And although that may not net a lot of like extra revenue, it is a little bit more money. Although I do think that what you should have is a lot of passive ways to make money. And if you can have some passive way to make money, like if this YouTube channel ever got monetized, I highly doubt it would. But if this YouTube channel ever got monetized, or if I was able to write a book like I would like to, or if I was able to do some other projects and activities that I have ideas for, that would be cool. Or even something I've debated on offering some advice on, like, programming, since that's what I do in my day job. Those kind of things will help, and I think that you can somehow monetize a lot of those things. Having a merch line, for people who like want to create content, having that, even if you just have it available and not many people get it, having that potentially making money is always better than not making anything at all. So that being said, I think that the wage cage kind of exposes to people what they've been working for, and essentially shows them, it's sort of the Morpheus, like the red pill moment there for them, where do you want to take the red pill and actually realize that what you're doing is not conducive to the future that you want, or do you want to just take the blue pill and just go to sleep and not ever wake up out of this? So I think that's where this comes into play a lot of times, is, do people want to wake up and do they want to realize that they can be somewhat self-sufficient? And I think that we need to try to be as self-sufficient as possible, especially in times like these. The more self-sufficient you can be and the self-reliant you can be, especially if you can build yourself up to a point of generational wealth, to the point where you don't have to worry about necessarily going and working for a wage ever again. And that's the trajectory I want to be on. Is I want to be on the trajectory of trying to make sure that I have generational wealth before the point that I actually need to start drawing money for retirement. And that's part of kind of what this hat is talking about, is FIRE. I don't know if you've ever looked up FIRE and you understand the concept of FIRE, financially independent, retire early. I don't necessarily want to retire early, and I don't really think that I would want to necessarily retire in the traditional sense. I do think that I would always want to do some form of work, although I would like to kind of choose the opportunities that I have available to me and be able to make my own work in whatever way that I see fit. Or if I want to do something part-time and then do something else the other time, and have multiple income streams and have all these things going on for myself, all of that works out to be a great thing for me, and it would be a great thing for my family if we were in these kind of positions. Because then once you get to a certain point, everything is kind of exponential from that point. The snowball effect starts going way faster downhill than it does uphill. It's being able to save all this money and being able to invest it and being able to put it into things that'll actually net me returns, or actually trying to build some level of portfolio that will last and will be able to accumulate over time. Those are some of the hardest things to do, to get started with all of that and get all of it set up. And if I started sooner, and had I been younger whenever I started all this, I would be much farther ahead, and I would have a much better opportunity at this. But I didn't, and so here I am, and I have to try to play catch up here at this point. So that's sort of unfortunate. At least I'm waking up at this point, and at least I'm coming to understand that the wage cage is not all it's cut out to be. You don't have to go in and clock in and just sit at the desk and do the thing. You have options. It's going to be rough. You're going to have to make the hard calls. You're going to have to do some tough things, and you're going to have to work a little bit harder sometimes to be able to get to that point. But once you get there, and if you make the right smart moves, like if you invest in the right things, or if you make the right decisions to start a business, or whatever you may choose to go into, or you buy property. You know, all of those are options that are on the table. Buying investments, buying property, and starting businesses. Those are all options, and that is the epitome of good capitalism. Is when regular people are capable of doing this, not just venture capitalists, not just bigwig execs being able to start 6 businesses in one day or whatever. When the everyman can make a business, when the everyman can buy properties, that is when you really have the sort of the power back into the hands of the people. And I'm not saying that a lot of these people shouldn't have their massive venture capital or whatever it may be, or their hedge fund. Even if I don't like the hedge funds, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have them. I'm just saying that they, it is good for people to try to take some of that back that is kind of taken from them. And the way that you do that is you save it up, invest smartly, and do the best you can to build the and do the best you can to build the kind of world that you want to see, for your family. But that's all I have for this video. I appreciate you watching, and if you've liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel here at Trey's Think Tank. And also, I have links in the description for all my social media pages, and I have a lot of other stuff there for you to check out as well. Feel free to go check out all my other channels. I sometimes stream to Twitch and everything else. So I hope I can catch you there. And that's all I have for this video. This is Trey50Daniel signing out.